Hi, my name is Emmarie, and I don't remember my life up until about the age of 12. I know, that might sound crazy, but just watch and it all makes sense. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, how does she do a Draw My Life video if she can't remember it? My mom told me most of the story yesterday, so, okay, let's start from the beginning. 22 years ago, on September 5th, 1996, Emmarie Whitaker, myself, was born in Utah in a town called Murray. My mom says my dad almost missed my birth because he went to go grab some lunch because he assumed that I wouldn't be born for another few hours. When I was born, I was diagnosed with a minor case of a disease called laryngomalacia. The best way to describe it is a floppy tissue that grows above your vocal cord that falls into your airway when you breathe in. Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun to me either. But since I was born with a minor case, I didn't need surgery to remove the tissue and I just was able to grow out of it. When my parents took me home from the hospital, I was greeted by my very loving older brother and sister, Robbie and Avonlea. So supposedly, when I was really little, I was pretty smart. I could read at a 3rd grade level at 3 years old, and I was really good at art, and I was naturally talented at singing. My mom's words, not mine. Then at 4 years old, I started having seizures. The doctors did a bunch of testing and everything came back negative. So they told my parents that I had anxiety and told them to take me to a psychiatrist. At about 5 years old, my parents started really noticing that I was losing my memory and becoming physically weak. At one point, I was even in a wheelchair. At this point, when all of this started really affecting me, my mom was convinced that I didn't have anxiety. Oh, and during all this stuff that's happening, my little sister, Mikaylee, was born. My mom doesn't remember exactly how old I was when they found out I had a brain lesion. She remembered all the tests that they did for seizures that kept coming back negative. They said that my brain lesion was causing the memory problem and that all the other symptoms, like passing out, hallucinations, seizure-like symptoms, and physical weakness were all psychiatric. I just kept getting worse and doctors kept saying nothing was wrong. They tried to put me on anti-seizure medication to see if that would help any of my symptoms, but it only made things worse. So the doctors officially declared that I was faking it all. Then, by some amazing miracle, a church in New York City that the mother of one of my mom's friends belonged to was praying for me. And someone in that church knew an epilepsy advocate, and then the advocate contacted my parents, and before we knew it, we were on a road trip to Texas. It still blows my mind how God worked everything out so perfectly. In Texas, they did all the tests they had done a million times on me in Utah, but this time all the tests came back positive. In Texas, I was officially diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy with a forced normalization. It basically means my brain only knew 2 states, having a seizure or being in a state of psychosis. The doctor said that they couldn't operate to remove the lesion that was causing the seizures because if they took it out, my brain would probably go into a permanent state of psychosis. And the medication that they wanted to put me on would only make it worse like it did before. They told my parents that the closer I got to puberty, the worse I was going to get because hormones make seizures a lot worse and that I probably wouldn't live much longer after I hit puberty. After all the bad news, we headed back to Utah. But on our way home, my mom threw out her neck sneezing or something like that and went to go see a chiropractor. That is the day that she met one of the people that would save my life. The chiropractor said that he knew methods and other people that could help stop my seizures and my symptoms. And as we went to go see him and all the other people he suggested, sometimes even traveling to other states to receive treatment, we started to see improvements in me. But growing up, I couldn't do a lot of stuff that normal kids got to do because it would cause my seizures to flare up. I couldn't run really fast, jump on a trampoline, ride a roller coaster, spin or get dizzy, blow hard, be around any type of strobing light, or be exposed to heavy fumes. But things slowly started to get better. And then when I was 8 years old, we got into a car crash in Arizona. The crash made me have such bad seizures that I forgot everything again. Luckily, my mom homeschooled me and my siblings so she could give me the one-on-one attention I needed to help me get back on track. One thing I've learned over the years through all of this is that your brain is better at remembering feelings versus anything else. The one thing I remember more clearly than anything during all of my younger years is the feeling of embarrassment. Embarrassment that I needed help reading and spelling when I was in Sunday school class or at homeschool group. I hated being so far behind from everyone else my age, but I worked really hard. It took me a couple of years, but I was basically back to grade level. And then, when I was 10 years old and everything was starting to get back to normal again, we got rear-ended by a big SUV at a stoplight and I was sitting in the very back seat. And then I had to start all over again. The after effects of this car accident really took its toll on my memory, and I honestly don't know if I'm completely recovered even to this day. But don't believe for one second that I haven't stopped trying to be recovered. When I was about 12 years old is when I really start remembering the day-to-day life more clearly. As long as I was careful, I didn't really have seizures anymore. And lucky for me, that was the year we got to pick up my soon-to-be adopted 3-year-old little brother, Joseph Jace, from his old foster family. Fast forward to when I was about 14, another day that changed my life. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw the most beautiful braided hairstyle I had ever seen in my whole entire life, and I wanted to try it. The only problem was I knew nothing, and I mean nothing, about hairstyling at all. I couldn't even do a normal braid, but I looked up about 1 million braiding tutorials on YouTube and practiced on myself for hours and hours, and eventually I got the hang of braiding. On my journey of learning how to braid, I fell in love with the art of hairstyling, and it became my passion. I was homeschooled for all of my life, but I took a Bible study class at our public school, and for the whole school year, I did a different hairstyle every single day. Pretty soon after I found my love of hair came my love of makeup, and my life would never be the same. Fast forward to another life-changing day in August of 2015. Avely and I went to a small YouTube convention in Utah to meet one of my favorite YouTube hairstylists, Cute Girls Hairstyles, which was amazing, don't get me wrong, but that wasn't the life-changing part. The life-altering experience was being introduced to the world of vlogging. I was amazed by all the vloggers I got to see that day, and when I got home, I told my mom about it and insisted that she and I start up a family vlog channel together. It took a little convincing, but eventually I got my mom to agree, and our family channel that my mom and I run together, Doors in Time, was born. Then about 1.5 years goes by of us having fun vlogging together, and someone suggests that I start my own YouTube channel. And that day, Emmarie Lane was born. A place where I share my love of hair, makeup, and fashion, but also a place where women and girls can feel beautiful inside and out and be reminded that they are enough just the way they are. Feeling beautiful inside and out and remembering that I am enough was something that I really struggled with for a long time because of all the things that happened during my childhood, and I wanted to create a space where anyone could feel accepted for being themselves. So I bet you're wondering if I still have seizures. Well, I'm happy to inform you that I have been seizure free for a few years now. And not only that, I can do a lot more than I used to be able to. I go running a couple of times a week, I jump on trampolines, I ride roller coasters, I spin around, I attempt to play the flute, and I go to events with strobing lights. The one thing that we figured out when I was about 12 is I still can't handle heavy fumes, but depending on the situation, that's pretty easy to avoid. I hope you know that I didn't tell you this story so you could feel sorry for me. I told you my story so that you could see that you can get past anything that is in your way, and no matter how high the mountain is, you can climb it. Oh, and that you're beautiful inside and out, and that you are enough. If you want to see my mom's side of my story, you can click right here. I love you guys so much, and don't ever forget that you are enough. Bye! Mwah!